state of California is facing a major budget crisis, and we do mean major. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is urging voters there to head to the polls tomorrow and approve crucial budget-cutting proposals. If these measures fail, Californians could wake up on Wednesday to a $21 billion budget deficit. And who is going to pay to get them out of that? The press secretary for Governor Schwarzenegger is McLear, and he is my guest this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for coming on. The nation is watching this because it's not just California, although we do have a lot of viewers out there, but they're worried that if Californians don't pass these measures and you face this budget deficit, you're going to come back knocking on the door of Uncle Sam and the federal taxpayers are going to have to come to your rescue. Is that a possibility, sir?
Well, that's not the plan. The governor laid out his budget revision proposals last week, one in case the ballot measures fail and one if they pass. There's no asking for money from Uncle Sam in that, and there's no asking California taxpayers for more money in that. So you're going to see very severe cuts in California spending one way or the other.
Can you rule it out?
Well, we're not going to rule anything out, but we've never asked for a bailout from the federal government. We've always worked well with them on the Recovery Act, and we're pleased that they're working with us on that issue. But as far as solving our deficit, that's never been the case, and I don't think we intend for that to be the case.
Well, you got $6 billion from the feds in the stimulus package.
Well, we actually got about $40 billion coming to us overall. We're very happy about that. We're working with the administration on that. But we're solving our own problems here. Both of the plans the governor put forward call for very severe cuts in California state spending to the point where our annual rate of growth now is about 1.5% under Governor Schwarzenegger.
Well, let me ask you about that, because you say, you admit candidly that you got $40 billion of federal taxpayer money in the stimulus package, and then we heard last week something that we announced on this show, that your treasurer is now asking the United States federal government to backstop your debt, essentially asking the federal government to be like a co-signer on your loans because you can't get loans because your credit is so bad, and the federal taxpayers to basically co-sign for them, and there's some trepidation. Normally that's done as a matter of course for states that are not in such trouble, but you're in such trouble. The federal taxpayers are a little wary about helping you out.
Well, we hope not. We have our state treasurers taking the lead on that issue. We support him on that. We're going to need to go to the market and borrow about $6 billion, and the federal co-signing is going to be helpful with that. But again, we've never asked for a bailout from the federal government. We don't plan to do so. We're solving our own problems here. The budget the governor put out is about the same size, just a little bit bigger than the first one he put out 6 years ago. So we are cutting spending quite a bit here to deal with our problem.
Last week or the week before, we covered the fact that you guys are trying to cut costs in California. Obviously, you have no choice right now but to do that. And one of the things you were going to cut was the wages to certain union workers. And then the SEIU, one of the biggest unions in the country, went and complained to Barack Obama. They gave him millions during the course of the campaign. They went and complained and said, we don't want our union wages cut. And he called you up, basically. The White House called and said, you better not cut those wages. Otherwise, we're yanking $6 billion in federal funding that was approved to you. Is that helping? Is that kind of thing interfering with your ability to balance your budget?
Well, the Obama administration said a final decision has not been made on that. And so we're confident that President Obama is going to do the right thing on that issue. We're working with him on there.
What's the right thing?
But no, I don't think. Well, I think the right thing is not to take $7 billion away from California because we didn't give a raise to certain union employees. Every California family and business is cutting back, and so is state government.
What do you make of that? I think a lot of Californians, especially the folks who had to sit and wait for their tax refunds, because you guys were, delayed sending those out this year to sort of pay bills and so on. They took their hit, and they get upset when they see the union saying, we're not taking our hit. In fact, we're going to go complain to Barack Obama and make sure we don't have to take it.
Well, and that's why we're trying to work with the Obama administration to make sure that's not the case. Like I said, everybody's cutting back here. State government's doing the same. We understand that people are frustrated. That's why the governor's trying to reform the system with budget reform that's going to be on the ballot tomorrow, reforming our tax system so we don't ever have to go through this again. That's why it's so important that we vote for these issues tomorrow.
I know a lot of people, I know that the polls look like they're against you. It doesn't look like a lot of these things are going to pass according to the polls. But I have to ask you this, Aaron, before I let you go, because we always get these emails, and I want to give you a chance to set it straight. This is what they say. They say California gives a bunch of money to illegals, and that's what's to blame for their budget problems. And I looked at one columnist on the LA Times who said in February that you spend over $5 billion a year on illegals, from prison costs to educate illegals, welfare to kids of illegals, and so on. Is that a fair charge or not?
Well, it's a fair charge in that we do spend money on undocumented immigrants here in California, but it's nowhere near the size of the problem we have. To blame our budget mess on that is just not right. The budget mess is really because we have a system that doesn't make sense, a system the governor has been trying to reform since he came into office, and with the ballot measures tomorrow, hopefully we take a step in that direction.
And Aaron, I got to go, so I need a quick answer on this, but if they don't pass, what are you going to do?
Well, a $6 billion hole, more than what we already have in the budget, to take it up to about $21 billion deficit that we have. So severe cuts all across the board, but no more tax increases.
All right, Aaron McLear, thanks so much for coming on and giving us your points.
Thanks,
we
Megan.
appreciate it. We watch it tomorrow.